Okay, old business, I put bid for the highway, which we already covered, the blacktop bid. Okay, any new business?
I have something I wanna say. Maybe I'm gonna regret this, but I have to point out, recently several articles were placed in local newspapers, and there's more to come, which have degraded, stated lies, and insulted our county sheriff, our town supervisor, our town justice, the Honorable Judge Seiss, our county treasurer, as well as our town attorneys. These people are highly respected and the most honest, trustworthy people on this planet. I'm just amazed that they've been shown a lack of respect and been humiliated, bullied, and accused of things which are untrue. I'm embarrassed and would like them to know that I'm very saddened by these hurtful actions.
Do you want that put in the minutes?
Sure.
Let me have it.
I don't know if you can read it.
That's all right.
Okay.
I got something under old business.
Mhm.
It's my understanding there's been a FOIL request out for about over 30 days.
Mhm.
Do we know the remedy of that? Is that gonna be filled or not filled?
The attorneys have dealt with the financial secretary. She is putting this stuff together. It is being dealt with, yes.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion to pay the abstracts.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any problems with any of the bills? Okay, if there's no discussion, all those in favor of paying, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, carried. Okay, the employee handbook and policy manual. We have the completed manual in front of us.
I like it.
Do we have to officially adopt this and see that it's passed out? I don't believe we did at the last meeting.
I don't think you, well, I don't know that you have to, these are all your current policies, but go ahead and do it. and make it formal.
I think maybe we should, just to have it on record, that we have a new employee handbook and policy manual.
At least the highway workers would have them, right?
Hmm?
The highway workers
Actually,
get
any-
them.
Anybody.
Oh, no.
Any
Everybody. Not anybody, everybody,
Everybody.
yeah.
Okay.
It has to be handed out and a receipt obtained with a signature on it to each person who is connected with the town, even volunteer.
You
Okay?
now have liability, they passed some laws, so the town actually has liability for things, particularly the sexual harassment laws that have recently passed. You have liability if somebody comes in randomly off the street and harasses Linda in some sexual manner. And so that's why it's important that they all volunteer, because that covers your bases liability-wise.
Well, in the insurance jargon, it's the personal injury offenses, A, B, and C, libel, slander, defamation of character, and now all the sexual harassment and all that stuff is all bundled into that coverage. And the town has that coverage, including the coverage on the umbrella. So we're in good shape there. And the insurance carrier loves this. I mean, we would probably next year incur a surcharge if we didn't do this. So there's a lot of reasons to do it. Does somebody want to make a motion adopting this employee handbook that has been prepared by our town attorney?
I'll make that motion, we adopt this employee handbook until we worked on it.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Now, what, I talked this over with Artie, and Artie will distribute them throughout the town highway department. And I'd like to have them put at the window and have the town clerk accept the signatures. form.
Artie will have to do that then. If he's gonna give those out, he'll need to obtain the signatures on that form. And my hope also is that the extra form, that you have are put on the website. You're supposed to have access, if possible, if you have a town website, to have those forms. It's these harassment reporting forms, and accident reporting forms, so that people don't have to go to a person if they're, because that might hamper their reporting if they feel like they have to talk to someone about
Right.
being sexually harassed or harassed in any way, so.
Go to the harasser to get the form.
Yeah, that
right?
would make it difficult, so
Okay.
they like it to be in a place where everyone can freely get it.
Okay.
Thank you.
So for that. All right, public comment.
No, we could have this one.
Or a
Oh,
resolution.
okay, I got one more resolution. Yes.
And that would be 43, Linda?
Yep, this will be number 43, yes.
Okay, resolution number 43 of 2019, resolution to confirm employment benefits affecting any employee hired under the Town of Palatine Employee Handbook dated effective January 1 of 2007. Does somebody want to make this resolution? I'll read the rest of it if you want.
I'll sponsor.
Okay. Betty made the resolution. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Sean, second. Further discussion. Whereas after due deliberation, the town board of the town of Palatine has considered it in the best interest of the town of Palatine to confirm that when an employee is hired under the retirement benefit policy contained in the town of Palatine Employee Handbook and Agreement dated January 1st, 2007 on page 5 under retirement benefits, shall be assumed to operate under provision A, retirement benefits, which states, upon reaching 15 years of service and upon retirement from the town of Palatine, the town will grant 15 years of single health insurance coverage. Retired employees are to continue making the same percentage employee contribution to this coverage as when they were employed. Said contribution is to be received at least 15 days prior to the town's required payment to the health insurance provider. And that original policy will control said employee's time of incurring retirement benefits. This shall occur despite any agreements to the contrary, including the collective bargaining agreement between the town of Palatine and the Teamsters Local 294 dated August 1st, 2119, that should read, December 31st, 2021. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the town board of the town of Palatine that any employee adversely affected by any later agreements that would negatively affect the obtaining of retirement benefits at the 15-year period of service, other than the one that employee was initially hired under, shall be allowed to continue his or her employment under the original agreement. Any further discussion?
Yeah, why are we putting up this resolution?
We were directed to do this, and it's been under discussion for quite some time. There is an employee in the highway garage who is kind of in a niche here that wouldn't be getting his retirement benefits in the same manner that the other employees were. So we were asked to pass this.
But I thought when we made the CBA that we took care of everybody on this, so
So it was thought at the time.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what this does. Also, there was, if I remember from the last CBA, that we were continuing health benefits on a single coverage until age 55, and then they'd have to go on there was a plan at age 55 that they were eligible for through the shop, and it was, and then at certain point they would take their Medicare. So we would pick up Part D, but we were not paying for private health insurance way over age 65. So,
We're not paying for health insurance over
Well,
age
if
65,
someone-
that's Medicare.
if somebody retires at age 55 on this, it says upon reaching 15 years of service. If they retire at 55, we're paying health insurance coverage until age 70. That's what it says right here, because we're giving 15 years of single coverage. So if they retire at 59, they get to 74. So I'm not understanding why we're doing this. It sounds, and we're also breaking the collective bargaining agreement that we actually passed. So I'd like more information. Tell me more, please.
This is an effort to treat all employees identically. And when an employee didn't start their career in the town of Palatine, the collective bargaining agreement and the employee handbook are not treating one of the employees the same. And this is an effort to do that.
Well, I'll tell you what. Okay, I make a motion, we go into executive session, so this is obviously a personnel matter, so I'd like to discuss it.
Okay,
Because this is the first I heard about it.
we have a motion to go into executive session. Do we have a second?
So everybody knows what this is about then?
Yeah, it's not coincide with the handbook and the bargaining contract.
Okay, but this is news to me. I just heard about this resolution today, but obviously you know who this is and what this is about.
This was brought up because of different retirement benefits between our employee handbook and the collective bargaining unit.
But none of the employees are on the employee handbook. We're in year 4 of the CBA.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is, the CBA comes first, and then the employee handbook.
Well,
The
they all
employee-
voted on the CBA
I
and
understand
accepted
that,
it.
but what happened is before they went for a CBA, they were bound by the town handbook. The town of Palatine handbook, they were bound by that. Well, when they went to the collective bargaining unit, one employee got left out of it. That's what this is doing to ratify that.
So it's gonna bring him into it.
Right.
The
Yeah,
new
right.
collective bargaining agreement.
Yes, into the collective bargaining agreement.
Well, no, because this is not into the collective bargaining. We're actually making a special benefit for one person and not part of the CBA.
We're
So-
not, Chris, we're not. So without divulging the information, we're not. We're trying to make this particular employee whole as this employee had been hired and worked under the auspices of the original hiring agreement, which is actually what is legal, and we're doing it in this manner to avoid the legal contest, which ultimately costs a lot more, because all of those provisions are simply putting him, are only taken from his original hiring agreement. They're not adding to him a special benefit. That was his original hiring benefit. So that's what was removed by this new collective bargaining agreement. The previous, you're saying it was already going for 3 years. The previous one deferred to the employee handbook, which was what he was hired under. So we were fine until the most recent
so
bargaining
what you're saying-
agreement switched that on this particular employee, and so that was an unfair treatment of
Okay,
this
so
particular
what you're saying
employee.
is, from the first CBA to the second CBA,
Yes,
okay, this fell through the crack.
Yes.
And what we're trying to do is just cement the crack.
we're
Is that what
just
you're saying? Okay.
fixing the problem that was created then, yes.
You can understand why I'm asking these
I
questions.
understand why, and you can understand why we can't divulge it in.
Well, no, that's why I asked for
executive
executive session, because I would have liked to know what happened,
session.
okay?
That was it came up with regard to the change of the policy and the collective bargaining agreement, because we had to comb through both of them with sort of fine tooth comb to make sure we weren't missing things in the creation of the new policy manual, so that's where this came up.
Okay. I appreciate
There
you.
is nothing creating new things for
No,
him,
no,
it's just
I
writing
appreciate
what's
that
on.
you explained it,
Okay.
it's just you can understand when I'm, I was involved with the first CBA, and I thought we took care of all this right to
The
the
first
end.
one was fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so we can fill out the roll call vote.
Yeah.
All are in favor that are here.
All right, all in favor except for Chris, Hank, who's absent.
Okay, I wanna back up and accept Debbie Logan's resignation. You all have a copy of it. I'm sorry I left that out of the packet. Okay?
Make a motion to accept the resignation from the planning board.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Okay. Public comment. Yes, sir.
I want to say that, in a way, I'm sorry to see us separate from a Montgomery County paper. However, you're right, totally right, because I separated from it too. After 70 years, or very close to it, taking that paper, they used to deliver it, and that was fine. Once in a while, the older person that delivered it probably was sick or whatever, and I never complained about it. Then, all of a sudden, even though I paid for it, they said that it would be delivered by mail. Well, it got delivered by mail about once or twice or whatever. I called them, I wrote them a letter, and one day I went down there, and I got to a couple ladies at the desk, and I said, no, I want to talk to somebody higher up. So I talked to the lady who, her and her husband owned that paper. And the one thing that I can say in defense of that paper, she was a delightful lady. That's all I can say. I've been going to write to her and tell her that, but she with tears in her eyes, and they weren't fake. She said, I'm really sorry, I wish there was something I could do for you, but they're printed down by the Schenectady paper, and she says there isn't, but she was a nice lady. So everything connected with that paper isn't bad. I never talked to her husband, but I did.
Okay, anybody else? Yes.
I just wanted to offer, Linda, I believe in your email there is a read receipt option that you can set so that when anybody reads the emails that you sent, you get notification that they read it. If there's something that I can do to help find that in your email system, I would be glad to help you.
Okay, thank you.
There's your proof.
Okay.
On the left. Yes. Which left? Yeah,
This
your
left.
left, okay.
Okay, my left. Your left? Just out of curiosity, that you're talking about the newspapers and this. I was just amazed that in a 5-minute meeting, the Courier Standard gave 3 full pages, and at a regular board meeting, they don't even show, and all we do is get negative one-sided comments. But the thing that annoyed me the most is that one section here, a statement from Mr. Novak. Contacted following meeting, Novak stated of the gathering, I was not informed about the meeting at all. I found about it afterwards. He says the special meeting was one of 6, I repeat 6, he was not alerted to since McLaughlin took over as supervisor in January of 2018. Well, of course, I didn't believe that because my father used to tell me the story of Aesop fable, and it just happens to be very familiar. Mr. McLaughlin, on May 9th, 2018, August 28th, 2018, October 10th, 2018, November 7th, 2018, had 4 special meetings. Mr. Novak was in attendance of each one on the record. The only one he did not attend was June 12th of the special meeting. There are only 5 special meetings that were held by this board since Supervisor McLaughlin took over. If you're gonna put something in the newspaper, at least get it correct, Chris, and don't bullshit the people in the town.
Thanks, Paul.
You're very welcome, sir.
Honorable Supervisor, Town Board,
Where's this coming from?
where do we stand on water and sewer on Route 5 in the corridor? You realize what we've lost in the past 10 years? 10 years ago, I was approached by a major drug company who was going to build a big store there and a small distribution center. Went all through the county, and it came down to water and sewer. They couldn't do it. 2 years ago, Tractor Supply called me, wanted some details on the 50 acres up there, which is a great for development. I own from Dygert Road to the other road there, and there's entrances on both sides. Where's the priority to get water and sewer there? There's all kinds of grants out there for economic development. All you've got to do is apply for them. What are we doing with this?
When I initially took office, I told several people that was one of my priorities, water and sewer on Route 5. In my opinion, that's the only place that this little town will come up with any substantial increase in assessed value. And without water and sewer, it's impossible. I have no master plan from the planning board. I have been after a master plan from the planning board since I sat down here.
Well, maybe it's time to get a new planning board.
Well, I can't do that. They have
Well,
to run their course. The board can't request their being done away with. And besides that, I'm not so sure that they're all that bad. There are a lot of hoops to be jumped through, and hopefully, in the very near future, we'll get it done.
Well, now what's going on with the beer factory there with 50-some employees? I heard they're out because of the water and sewer situation.
Cheese factory, yep.
The cheese factory went to
Cheese factory,
Johnstown.
Yep.
I mean, that there should be a priority over these make-you-feel-good projects with solar and wind power, you know? And that's what basically that is make you
I'm in
feel good.
complete agreement with you. I would love to see you be able to sell the property or develop it yourself. I love it.
You know, you talk about no tax increase. Well, if you factor in inflation, there's going to be a tax increase. You need tax base here. And the only way you're going to get it is development of this corridor here.
A major, yeah, we'll get some with this. There is building going on in the town of Palatine, but it's like there's the town of Palatine and there's an outside world. I mean, it's different.
So
I'm all for it. I'd love to see it.
So if I come back next month, you'll be able to tell me we've done this and that, or what?
Boy, oh boy, next month. How old are you?
I'm the same age as you. We graduated together. We're old.
I have never seen
We're
anything
old. I
happen
want to
that
see
fast.
something happen there before we die, you know?
Yeah, I hear you, Rusty. Thank you.
But really, this has got to be a priority there. I mean, the money's there for development. All we got to do is do the grant applications. I understand the county has a grant
I can't
writer.
without the planning board making their little thing.
When's their next meeting? I'd like to attend it.
When is it, the 10th?
July 10th.
July 10th.
Okay, all right.
We gotta stop getting all this negative publicity too about the town.
Well, yeah, that's
Everything going on is fighting, doesn't
that's another
help us
thing
any.
that's got to stop. This is ridiculous, you know. And I'll tell you something else. Then I'll sit down and shut up. We had $400,000 to build a brand new building up in the town of Palatine, in a beautiful setting, hay fields, mountains all around us, and now we're gonna this rat-infested place down here. What are you people, crazy? Where'd that money go for a nice new building in the town of Palatine? It's a wrong move, wasting your time down there, I'm telling you. It should be right up there, and in front of that building should be a plaque for Willard Skip Barshite, father of our town.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Am I reading into this wrong? Am I being accused of stealing those cards that belong to that camera? Is that what the deal is here?
What's that?
Am I being accused of stealing the
I don't
cards?
No, you're not being accused. I just asked
Okay, all
if
right.
you knew where they were.
Last time I saw them was December of 17. They were in a white envelope within that cardboard box. Where they've gone from there, I have no idea.
No, I just wanted to know if you knew where they were.
Oh, okay.
Maybe they had
All right.
been
I jumped
put
to a
somewhere,
conclusion now.
but I didn't know.
Okay.
No, we're not, I'm not accusing you, Neil.
Thank you.
Not at all.
Okay, I guess just up to the conclusion. Let me say something here concerning what Rusty was just talking about. Rusty, you and I have spoke before, but anyways, I had called Amanda when I was sitting on the board. Amanda Bearcroft down in the county told me I had to get the two mayors would have to be involved. So I called Mayor Post. Mayor Post said yes, he'd be willing to look into it. Okay, at that point, I talked to Mayor Bathrick at the time. First he said he would, then Amanda talked to him, no, I'm not interested. So that shot that project, that stopped it right there, Rusty.
Well, the village of Nelliston annexed all my 50 acres about 10 years ago.
Yes, I know.
What have I received for, besides a village tax bill every year?
Well, there's a new
Nothing.
mayor seated now, maybe take it to the new mayor.
Well, we'll discuss that on the 10th, huh? Maybe we can invite both mayors. What do you think, Neil?
Well, as I said.
Let's start
Mayor-
making things happen.
Mayor Post was more than willing to look into it. Mayor Bathrick changed his mind. That's what I can tell you about that.
Well, I think we ought to invite both mayors.
Okay, is there anybody else?
Thank you.
Yes.
First, Bill, I do